I helped someone once and forgot about it, but years later, that person came back into my life. I didn't think it was a big deal at the time. A few years ago, I was driving home after a long day at work. I was tired, hungry, and honestly just thinking about getting home as quickly as possible. The road was pretty quiet that night. Streetlights passed by one after another, and there were only a few cars on the road. Then I noticed a car stopped on the side of the road. The hood was open, and a guy was standing there looking stressed and a little lost. For a moment, I almost kept driving. You know that thought people have sometimes? Someone else will probably help him. But something about the situation didn't feel right. The road was pretty empty, and it looked like he had already been there for a while. So I slowed down and pulled over. I rolled down my window and asked, "Hey, everything okay?" The guy looked relieved the moment I stopped. He told me his car suddenly stopped working and his phone battery was almost dead. He had been trying to wave down cars for nearly 20 minutes, but nobody stopped. So I got out of my car to see if there was anything I could do. I'm not a mechanic or anything like that, but sometimes even having another person there makes things easier. We checked the engine for a minute, but it was clear the car wasn't starting anytime soon. So instead, we decided to push the car to a safer spot near the sidewalk. It took a little effort, but we managed to move it out of the road. After that, I let him use my phone to call a tow truck. While we waited, we just talked. Nothing special, just normal conversation about work, life, and where he was heading that night. But one thing I noticed was how grateful he seemed. He kept thanking me again and again, and honestly, it felt a little strange to me, because in my mind, I hadn't really done anything special. Eventually, the tow truck arrived. Before leaving, the guy shook my hand and said something that stuck with me. He said, "I won't forget this." I laughed a little and told him, "It's really nothing." Then I got back in my car, drove home, and that was the end of it. Or at least, that's what I thought. Days passed, months passed, years passed, and eventually I completely forgot about that night, until one day, life decided to surprise me. It was honestly one of the worst days I'd had in a long time. That morning, I found out I had lost my job. I spent the whole day feeling stressed and frustrated, trying to figure out what I was going to do next. Then, later that afternoon, my car suddenly broke down, right in the middle of the road. I pulled over and tried starting the engine again. Nothing, just silence. And to make things worse, my phone battery was almost dead. So there I was, standing on the side of the road, watching cars drive past me, one after another. Nobody stopped. And I remember thinking how strange life can be sometimes. A few years earlier, I had been the person stopping to help someone. Now I was the one standing there, hoping someone would stop for me. A few minutes later, a car slowed down. It pulled over right in front of me. A man stepped out and started walking toward me. At first, I didn't recognize him, but he looked at me for a moment, smiled, and said, "Hey, you probably don't remember me." I looked at him, confused. Then he said, "A few years ago, you helped me when my car broke down." And suddenly, it clicked. It was him, the same guy. Out of all the roads, all the places, and all the people, he was the one who stopped. He laughed and said, "I told you I wouldn't forget." He helped me call a mechanic and even drove me to a nearby cafe so I wouldn't have to stand on the side of the road. Before leaving, he said something simple. "You helped me when nobody else did. I guess today, it's my turn." And in that moment, I realized something important. Sometimes the smallest things we do for someone come back to us exactly when we need them the most.